Rumors had swirled for years, and allegedly traumatic murder assaults happened for the next 8 years after Jamie's event. And she could stay silent through all of that, watching her friends go to work with the rapist, watching young con girls go and get their unconsented kisses on the cheeks and foreheads and their hair tugged and pulled all over the place like some caveman dragging a cave woman off to impregnate her. She could endure all of that. But at the beginning of 2019, plaintiff's victims started speaking out about the pain plaintiff had wrought upon them. These people really do live and die on Twitter. They really do. They live and die on Twitter. On February 8th, 2019, Jamie bravely told the true story of her encounter with plaintiffs so many years before. Several years ago, I was in the lobby at my job when I was approached by a coworker. This guy gave me the creeps already. He gave almost all the women at my job the creeps, but I always felt I had to be nice to him anyway because of how revered he was in the industry. We hug a lot, and on occasion we'll give a kiss on the cheek, but even for an affectionate environment, this felt off. I didn't say anything to him about it, though. It was just his fingers in my hair. I didn't think it was a big deal. At that point, notice she doesn't say in this account that she initiated contact. That story's different. Why is it different? Why do the stories change every time you tell them, you lying defendants?
And indeed, the stories seem to change every single time when they're recalled, but again, Vic is the one that's being labeled as a liar here, as once again here today we're going to be covering the basis of what's going on again following the events on Twitter, people having to be in an uproar, having to blame Vic and his fans once again for almost essentially everything, even going as far as to block out fans that are simply asking questions. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with all things involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Toye, and many of the news and updates involving the Vic Mignogna case, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up if you guys do stand with Vic, as well as making sure to check out and subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, to where there you guys will be able to find lots of anime and Dragon Ball content that you guys will not get to find on here. And follow me at Twitter at UnrealNetwork to stay connected with me at all times. And if you have anything you would like to share or tag me in involving Vic Mignogna or any of the parties involved in this case, then be sure to go on ahead and follow me at Twitter. Now, to kick things off, it appears that Vic Mignogna will no longer be voicing Broly in any Dragon Ball video game going forward, as it appears based off of Our Nerd Culture's tweets. They went on to tweet, and I quote, "So it would appear that according to some internal leaks, people at Funimation and Bandai, that the role of Broly has been replaced going forward for future Dragon Ball video games and future roles, and Vic Mignogna will no longer be a part of any future project." Which the argument can be made that this was already established back early on in January/February of this year, when the allegations against Vic first came out after being released from Funimation and of course several other companies. It appears that now he will no longer be voicing the role of Broly, which is sad because a lot of people really did enjoy Vic Mignogna voicing the role of Broly, so I'm not sure if Funimation had already found a replacement for Broly. I'm not sure if Funimation had already looked into replacing Vic Mignogna for a brand new actor, which they probably already did at this current point in time, especially with brand new Dragon Ball video games having to be looming over the horizon. We already know that Broly is canon now to Dragon Ball Super, so going forward on Funimation's end when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super dub, anything that is involved with Dragon Ball Super having to return and for that to be getting an additional English dub in the future, especially if the Broly movie is going to be retold, then it's safe to say that Funimation will definitely have another voice actor lined up to play the role of Broly going forward in the foreseeable future. But for now, it's come to everyone's understanding that he will no longer be voicing the role of Broly. But would you like to know who in fact is rejoicing at the idea of Vic being fired? Dominique Sky, because Dominique Sky took it upon herself to tweet, and I quote, "I'm not sure what's with the I stand with Vic and hoping I kill myself, but if anything motivates me to survive, it's watching them cry harder, cause at Vic Mignogna is still fired, showcasing a couple of tweets from other YouTubers basically telling her to off herself, which is something that I disagree with, even though Dominique Sky appears to be one of the biggest attention seekers on the internet itself. But what is any of this, right? What does any of Vic's fans having to tell her mean things or at least get into her fifis have anything directly related to Vic Mignogna's positioning and his job title, right? Notice how other people, right, that are not named Vic Mignogna are attacking Dominique and, you know, saying certain things or just having an opinion on her, and instead of directing them, she immediately goes on to target Vic by stating, well, you can go tell me to off myself, but guess what? Vic Mignogna is still fired. So yeah, the guy's livelihood is ruined, and you're happy about that. Why? Oh, that's right, because you're a complete and utter psycho who is fundamentally malnourished on every single positioning that you even have an argument for, in the fact that you can't seem to hold an argument, in the fact that you can't seem to position yourself in having an objective stance because you have such a bias that you seem to kiss more ass for clout than can be counted for, and the fact that you come off as a very condescending and disingenuous person. I'm not surprised at this point that when someone directs something at you specifically, you're not even woman enough to address the issue at hand, but instead you bring along Vic and having to mock him for having his livelihood destroyed. Very classy on your end. But it doesn't end there, because her stupid friend Mars Girl also went on to post something on Twitter as an individual went on to ask, seriously, are you lesbian? As Mars Girl replied, and I quote, they can't actually do anything about the fact that Vic is still fired thanks to his own behaviors. So they say things like this, as if accusing me of being a lesbian would even be an insult. First of all, it's not an accusation, it's a question, but you're too stupid to know the difference. As of course, an individual that goes by the name of Tomo goes on to reply, says the person who just blocks anyone who criticizes her and never gives any direct answers back. Want me to be on your side? Show proof. You and Monica have done nothing but try to take Vic down on baseless accusations. The deposition proves to me that you are lying. Just apologize. But do you want to know what Mars Girl did? Went along to block this individual by having to reply, I don't owe anything to misogynists. So again, Mars Girl is known to block everybody, even those that simply ask a question or even go as far as to disagree on her own positioning or stance, and simply having to put that into question. Mars Girl is the definition of what a coward is, because instead of accepting anything, instead of owning up to anything, or even going as far as to address said criticism, instead she just simply blocks you. She's blocked people that even went as far as to have zero communication with her. Do you want to know why? Because you are guilty by association. Go ahead, try asking Mars Girl a question, try going against Mars Girl in her stance, and I guarantee you, you're going to be labeled as a misogynist if you're a man, and if you're a woman, you're going to be labeled as a subspecies brainwashed woman, just as they've painted that narrative out before. So again, you have to love the fact that this person went as far as to tell Mars Girl, listen, Monica's lying, Jamie's lying, my own opinion based on what I saw is this, and thus you should simply apologize for defending liars. And what does Mars Girl do? She flips the script, she blocks the individual and having to call him a harasser, a misogynist, and that's simply not true. And then, even as you guys can see based on her own tweets, somebody went as far as to ask, are you a lesbian? And she took such offense to that she spun it just to suit her own narrative, which they try so desperately to paint Vic out in the absolute worst of ways. But it's like I've said before, people make mistakes. Everybody watching this video, every single person listening to the sound of my voice had done something in their life that they deeply regret. We've all made mistakes, but what are we as humans if we don't learn from these mistakes, if we don't own up to these mistakes? Vic had owned up to his mistakes. Yes, he had cheated on his fiance/wife, and that's not a good thing to do. Yes, he unintentionally went on to give people hugs, cater to people in which subconsciously made them feel uncomfortable, but does that make him a monster? Does that make him a predator? Absolutely not. So of course, by him having to make these mistakes in the voice acting industry, they want to take that and run with it with their own narrative to further their own careers, and it's simply not right. They've asked for apologies, they've gotten apologies, and that's still not good enough for them. So the only thing they want at this point is to see Vic just completely completely disappear. Which even dates back to everyone accusing Vic of not liking homosexuals or transsexuals. Meanwhile, yesterday, we just covered a topic with video evidence of Vic supporting someone that was going through a trans phase. So how is anyone out there going to sit there and condemn Vic for being against homosexuals or trans people or anything of that nature? As a matter of fact, I want you guys to take a look at this video. Now keep in mind, Vic is a Christian. I'm a Christian too, but Vic is a Christian and he's going against people that are trying to spread hatred on the streets that also call themselves Christians. So I want you guys to go ahead and take a look at this.
So I want to say hi to them.
Welcome to the University lead worship at First Baptist Houston. Very much of a committed believer in Christ. And what I have found, I am also a voice actor. I do a lot of voice work for animated shows and video games. And what I have found in my personal experience is that what these kids need to know is that God loves them, is that God embraces and accepts them as they are. They've been told by people who call themselves Christians for years, God hates this, God's going to judge you for this, God's going to condemn you for that, and they don't believe, they don't understand that God loves them as they are, and accepts them as they are.
So hold on.
So I would encourage
you. Jesus didn't command repentance?
Jesus loves people.
Jesus didn't command repentance for the remission.
That's not what I
sins?
said. Let me ask you something.
Jesus
what do you
never
think?
says.
What do you think embraces?
Jesus never
what do you
said.
think encourages
He never
people
went
toward
around
God?
telling people he loved
I'm
them.
asking you a question.
You see,
What
you
do
are
you-
preaching a false gospel.
I'm afraid you're
You're
wrong, my
cursed,
friend. I could
sir.
quote more scripture than you'll ever
The
know.
devil can quote lots of scripture.
I'm not the devil, brother. Let me tell you
You
something.
come
Let me
and
tell you
boast
something.
about what you've
I'm not
done.
boasting. I'm telling
But
you
you
what
haven't
reaches. If
boasted
you
in
want to reach
Jesus
these kids for
Christ.
Jesus, tell them about God's unconditional love for them,
Jesus
not
was
His
down with the
judgment.
sinners.
And you know what?
He was
Jesus
eating
did
with
that
the
too.
sinners.
Jesus died
Jesus
You
walked
don't talk about that.
Yes, I
Because
do. As a
sin's
matter
not
of fact, you're
sinful to
wrong.
you.
I do.
These people want
What you just
to
said, you have
believe,
no knowledge of. I do
but they're
talk
so
about that.
beaten
Sir,
down.
that's your
But these
opinion.
kids
by
have
people-
seen
Contrary to
people.
the Bible. The Bible says
Excuse
that
me?
people that seeks God.
That
So
what?
you don't either, right?
I did not seek God.
But you don't now, because
Jesus
it says
Christ.
none seeks God by your own words.
Jesus Christ came and He sought after me. What's the Lord?
With what?
And you know
With
what?
His judgment or
You
with
know
His
what?
love for you? No,
where
wait a
was
minute.
Jesus
No,
when
really.
he was on
I
earth?
was
Was it
eating with the
Jesus'
sinners.
love for you
just
that
like
or judgment that drew Him to you?
who was dead 4 days, could
Exactly.
not get up on his own.
You don't
And
like this, sir?
Jesus Christ
Excuse me?
delivered
You
me
don't like
from
this?
the wrath
Oh, I
of
love it. I tell you what I don't like. What I don't like is you are presenting an image of God to these
Said
kids.
anything. Put up my sign.
You
As
haven't
the word
said
of
anything.
God. As the word of
Let's
God.
see.
Jesus
Fear,
saves from the wrath
fear,
of God.
wrath, flames.
Yes.
Thieves, unthankful.
Isn't that what Jesus spoke about?
Wrath, fear,
Isn't that what
and
Jesus
flames.
spoke about?
You're speaking.
That's
you're speaking
not
hate to
the
these
message
people. That's
that
not
draws
what you
people
mean.
to
This
God.
then is the message that God is light and in Him is no darkness
By
at all.
this shall all
If we
men know if
say
you are my
that we
disciples, if
walk
you
in the
love,
light
show
and
love
we
for
walk
one
in
another.
Darkness, we lie
Jesus
and do
embraced
not
the
truth.
sinners all around Him. He loved them. He didn't
He
walk up
wasn't
to the
eating with the
he didn't walk up to the
Pharisees. He was
people to
going
the
down
sinners
and
and say,
sitting with the
"You're going to
sinners."
hell.
Your
I'm going to
message-
judge you. You're going in
your
flames."
message is
No,
contrary
He
to the
loved it.
message
No,
of
it's not.
Jesus.
Then you haven't read the whole Bible,
You know
my
what? He
dear.
said it would be better for you
If
to,
it- yeah.
to enter into hell without an arm or without an
Right.
eye.
Right.
To enter into life
know
without an
this.
arm,
I know what he
without,
said.
without an eye.
I know what he
Than
said.
to enter into hell where
Full,
the
completely full.
fire
That's right. That's
is
right.
never
And you know what?
quenched.
All I'm telling you guys
So
is
these
this.
words that we
All
brought
I'm
up,
go ahead,
these
finish
are the
your-
words of
finish
Jesus Christ.
So am I.
These are the words of Jesus
So are
Christ.
mine.
And you say by putting up these words of Jesus Christ that we are causing people to be offended.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Well, Jesus
That's not
Christ,
what I said.
Jesus Christ.
That's
words
not what
offended
I
people.
said. What
Do
I
you know
said
that in
was,
John 6
it is God's love that
Do you know
draws
that in
people to
John
repentance,
6
not hatred and wrath and
Do you know
judgment.
that in John
It's God's
6
love and
Jesus
desire
says,
for them
"Unless you
that draws
eat
them to Him."
of
And you
my
guys,
flesh
if you have any
and
desire to
drink
reach these
of
people
my
for God,
blood,
you should be
you
telling them
shall
about His
not
love for them.
enter into
Unless
life."
you repent, you will likewise perish.
May I take a picture?
It'd be better for a millstone were tied
I
around your
encourage
neck
you,
and you were
sir.
cast into the sea.
Look, buddy, you're missing
You
the
would
whole
cause
point.
any one of these
You're
little
missing
ones
the
to
whole
stumble,
point, my
sir.
friend.
You're a hypocrite, sir. Fires of hell wait for you, sir.
You know what, brother?
religious.
loves these people as much
Jesus
as he
spoke
loves
hard
you.
people to
know
religious
that?
people like
He
you.
loves all of these people as much as he loves you. And until you
Jesus
start
said,
preaching
"Everyone
that
that I
message,
love,
you are not
I
communicating God's
reprove
message.
and I rebuke. Be zealous.
Oh,
That's what
judgment,
Jesus
wrath.
said. Yes, for judgment have I come into this world, Jesus said.
Listen to God,
For
man.
judgment.
He loves these people as much as
Yes,
he
he
loves
does. He loves every one of them. He tells
Then
them
why don't you preach that?
Word.
Put up a sign that says that. Put up a sign that says that. No, that
This is
says
the
fear,
everlasting gospel.
wrath, judgment, flames. That's what your sign
You're
says.
offended at the word of God.
No, I'm not, brother. I'm trying to tell you what
Bible
God
says
wants to
the
tell these
righteous
people.
are not easily offended, sir.
Jesus.
You're offended at the word of God.
No, I'm not, brother. I've been
Jesus.
studying the Word of God as long as you have.
Like
To the
literally.
pure, all things are pure, but to those who defile
God loves
unbelieving,
these people as much as
nothing
He loves
pure.
you. And that's the message you should be teaching them.
It's not the message.
But yet they sit there on their asses and they still call Vic a monster. I leave this up to you guys to interpret. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, we're not done. We are far from done because we have many more examples. We have many other things to talk about. And again, if you guys have any stories of your own, post them in the comment section, guys. Thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Thank you all so much for supporting me. And more importantly, thank you all so much for supporting Vic Mignogna. His GoFundMe will be located down below. Again, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications. Slap a big fat like on this video if you guys do support Vic Mignogna in this case. Follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork. I can't stress it enough, guys. On there, you guys can tag me, and whatever it is you guys want to talk to me about when it comes to this case alone, you guys can go on ahead and follow me on Twitter and do that with. Again, also subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork. We're almost at 600,000 subscribers. Not far now, so again, if we can hit that goal, that would be amazing. And once more, I'm gonna leave you guys with some highlight clips for you guys to interpret on your own time. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys.
Are you taking any medication as a result of the defamation that you claim to have suffered?
I am taking 2 medications. One is losartan for high blood pressure, and one is Zoloft for, I guess it's an antidepressant.
And did you take that before these allegations came
No,
out?
that started in late January.
Okay. Have you been unable to work as a result of any mental issues that you're suffering because of this alleged defamation? Not that somebody's not letting you work, but that you can't get up and go to work. You understand the distinction?
I have, for the first several months, I found it very difficult to really do much of anything. I had offers from people to do certain things, and I found it very difficult to get motivated.
Did you do those?
Didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I was losing weight.
Did you do those things that you had offers to do? Did you turn them down?
I haven't done them. I asked them if I could have some time.
Okay. As I understand it, you may be seeking $1 million or more in this
sir.
lawsuit. No?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I have not discussed any numbers of any kind of monetary anything.
All right. Do you believe that you've been damaged as a result of the defamation of Mrs.?
Yes.
Let me get the question out.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
all right.
so sorry. Sorry.
Do you believe that you have been damaged as a result of the defamatory statements that you allege were made by the defendants in this case?
Yes.
Do you have can you put a monetary value on that?
No.
What would you need to know to put a monetary value on that?
If I may, Sean, let me answer by saying this. I didn't want to do this.
So I went to his hotel room because, like I said, I had been flirting with Rial all weekend, and he was dating a friend of mine named Michelle Speck. So I went with him to the hotel room. He played for me the video, and in the middle of the video, he grabbed me by the arms and he turned me around and he started kissing me. And, and I was...
It's okay.
I was raped when I was 15 years old. And so for me, it was a very difficult moment. I was frightened, I was scared, I didn't know what to do. When I was 15, I had fought back, and that didn't end well for me, so I just kind of went along with it, knowing that any minute Stan was gonna come to the...
You know what that sounds like? I mean, I know how she's describing it, and I know how I'm gonna be characterized for this, but I don't really care. Listen, I just went along with it sounds a lot like consent. It sure sounds like consent when you just go along with it. 'Cause you could have just said, nah, fam, I'm good without the mouth works. Because it reminded me of my rape when I was 15. Sure, of course. It always does, years later. And how did you, after being assaulted like this, did you clam up and just go with it every time Vic ever saw you? I mean, come on.